Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see you were all able to attend our class today. Today we're going to be learning about the Placester website. In our class today, Placester 101 will be all about getting your website up to date and ready to go to help you as a tool in your business. By the end of the class, we should have the following items covered. We're going to set up your IDX properly, launch your site, add personalized info to your website, edit the theme to one of your liking, edit the search form to the appropriate version to meet your goals, add the appropriate certifications to your site, understand how to add your social networks, customize your domain, and understand what is needed to be prepared for the next class. Is there any questions before we start? No? Okay. So Placester is the website that will be replacing the Keller Williams eEdge website. And the eEdge website will most likely be retired probably within the next 6 months. So at this time, this is this website that I'm teaching. Some of the benefits of the Placester website is that it's fully mobile responsive. And what that means is that no matter what type of device somebody is looking at, the website will adjust to the size of their device. So as the screen shrinks, the text items on there rearrange so that it looks good on your phone, on your tablet, or whatever device that you're looking at. Some of the other advantages are that you have the ability to add unlimited pages and blog posts to your site in a relatively easy manner. This will be a subject that will be covered in a later class. We will not spend a lot of time talking about how to add content to your site. This is more designed just to get your site up and going. In the next class, we'll be doing some advanced features to get your site even more ready to add content. And in the third class that we do, the Placester 3 class, we can work on helping you add more content. So as we get started, everybody should be able to log into MyKW if you haven't already. And then what you'll see on MyKW is under the technology menu here, you'll see a drop down and you'll click on KW websites. And then after you click on the technology menu and you hit the drop down that says KW websites, you'll come to this page that says your KW agent website, and you'll simply click on go to my website. And once you're here, what you will see is kind of a snapshot on where your website is at. And what I find is the easiest thing to do is to actually get off of this page and just simply click on Edit Site in the middle window here. After that page loads, we're going to scroll all the way back up to the top, and we're going to start using the items on the left-hand side here. We're going to start going through these. We will skip a little bit around of these items, so we're not going to go exactly in order. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on IBX Integration. And if this is set up properly, what we should see is that Midwest real estate data in the Illinois region is selected. So if that's the case, you can click up in the top right corner where it says Dismiss. And that will bring us back to the...
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
below the region is KW, Keller Williams LS listing. You know, it says use this MLS.
Correct.
Is that how you want that set up?
No, you're good. So the reason why we have the KWLS is that as a default, if an IBX for some reason is not available across the country, or sometimes there's a fee to activate it, they can just use the Keller Williams listing service, which will only display the Keller Williams listings in that area. So in our area, MRED, it's not a big deal because we don't have to pay an extra fee to launch it. So now that we made sure our IDX is launched, the next section that we should go to, we can scroll down here a little bit under Site Design on the left-hand side and click on Site Info. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go through this whole section here and add the specific information to us that is appropriate and correct any information that may be incorrect. Now I'm going to point out here, you see the first two are your brand name and your tagline. The other one is select the KW logo. For this office in Orland Park, I'm suggesting you use the Keller Williams preferred logo here that's on the, I don't know about the second row, third one over. That's the easiest one to find.
Oh, select. Yeah, sorry.
And you should select the one that's got the red.
Okay.
Here. So we're changing yours here. Are you good? Okay. So you want to make sure if you have a tagline, you put it in there. If not,
What's a good tagline?
maybe your slogan for your business. Then as we scroll down, we're just going to make sure that our contact info, both our name and our email and our phone numbers, are correct. And we have the ability to upload our picture.
I got my tagline.
Okay.
I got my tagline.
And then after you get done uploading your picture and your details, simply scroll down and you can edit all the information about the office. So since this office has just recently moved, you want to make sure that the correct office address is in for the Orland Park office, which should be 16101 South 108th Avenue. Okay, has everybody got that far? We got all our information there. The next thing you're going to see is the meta description and the meta title, which is all the way on the bottom. So the best example I can show, if we look up at the screen here, is we'll see that this is what how Google shows your information when people search. So your meta title is going to be up at the top here, and then your meta description is going to be the information that shows underneath it. Okay, this is how Google is going to display the information. It's not seen by the public. So what I would suggest is that you want to make sure if somebody is searching specifically for you, that it has your name and kind of the general area that you cover so that they're not confusing you with maybe a real estate agent in another area, and that they'll get to your page if they're looking for you.
That would be in the meta description.
That would, but I use my name in the meta title, and I also put the description a little bit about kind of the area that I serve.
In the meta description.
Correct.
So the email, I see there's an email there, a website. Will that automatically come up? Or when you put the meta description or the meta title, there's a website under your name.
Right, so that's going to be correct. So the website that we're working on will automatically display on there.
What about the amount of towns? I mean, should you limit it to a certain amount?
I don't, you can either get specific or not specific. What I usually say is, if you have an uncommon name, that's really not a big deal.
No.
You can just say Chicagoland area, right? If you want to get specific for towns, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not wrong. The issue becomes is you only have about 166 characters to display. So if you look on a lot of these, you'll see basically you get about one line, and then you get about another half a line here, and then they give you the 3 dots.
Oh.
So you only get about 3 sentences in there before you run out of characters.
Will it show the 3 dots for doing that?
I think you'll be okay. I don't think you have too much there. And then after we get done with that, we're going to make sure that we just click save. And we'll wait a minute while everybody gets finished, catches up here. Is everybody done? We got that page on? Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about the theme for your website. The Keller Williams custom theme is what is known as the Madison theme. And I'm going to change my website so that you guys, it will look similar to yours. So what I find is that the Keller Williams default comes with the red header, and then it has what they call the Omni box, or that's a natural language search in the middle here. Everybody see what I'm referring to?
You click on there.
Okay. So what you can do is if you're in this section, click on the top right corner where it says View Live Site. And if you haven't had a chance to launch your site, there should be something there that says Launch Site. In the top right corner, you'll see something that says View Live Site. Click Dismiss. There's it.
So you need to go back.
Click Dismiss from it. We're going to look at our sites. So scroll up and look at View Live Site. So this is what your site currently looks like. Okay. And what I'm going to suggest here is that we use potentially a different theme. Because what I find is while the natural language search may work, there's a lot of times where it doesn't pick up the language correctly. So I highly suggest that we change to a form search. So I'll give you an example here. And if I search for Orland Park, I just typed in Orland, and what it's given me is if we can look at the screen, we'll see that it's given me Orland, Illinois, and then it's given me like a neighborhood of Orland Park, Orland, Illinois. So what I find is that it doesn't work that great. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it will not work. It's designed so people can type in 3-bedroom homes in Orland Park. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. What I find is that there's different ways to avoid this so that people can make sure that you can control their experience and that it's going to work for them. Does that make sense?
But, okay.
So what I'm going to suggest is that with the default Keller Williams theme, you can only have what is called the omnibox, which means you can only have the natural language search. What I suggest and what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the other themes that are available. And if you choose one of the other themes, there are 8 available. 6 of them will allow different types of search, or like a menu search, where you're able to select on an item and see a list of items that they can select. Does that make sense?
Well, isn't there so much menu search by Orland Park?
But the issue is you can't even find Orland Park on their property if you were trying. And we're actually trying right now. So
Okay.
what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at the different themes that are available. So if we go back to our window here and we look on the left-hand side, we'll see theme selection right under site design in the middle.
Can I go back to home?
I think you actually have to go, when you launch your site, it opened up in a new window. So we'll have to actually switch window back to the window that you were on. Just go ahead over there. And what you
So
will
what do
see,
you want to do? You want to cancel this window?
yeah, you can close this window. And then we'll go back and on the left hand, right here, that's where we want to be. On the left-hand side, if you scroll down, under site design, you'll see one that says theme selection. Now, I want you guys to take a few minutes and look at the different themes and see which one picks your eye. I personally like the Plymouth one. It's one that I like, but there's different ones there. If you like one that you enjoy better or you like better, feel free to select that one. And
It's
if
a
you
good one too for the fall.
Right, so these are stock pictures. Hopefully in the next class, we're going to work on changing the pictures with
All right.
some different content opportunities.
Good afternoon. So this is just, we can just choose one, it won't have the information like Phoenix real estate.
Right, no, it will not. It will have your specific information.
All right, so I'm going to choose that Plymouth.
Right.
Very good. And that's obviously one of the sites that has the menu.
Correct.
So how do I choose it?
If you scroll down on the right bottom, there's a save. So now that we've saved our theme, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the search form.
Okay.
Okay. So if we go over to the left-hand side, about the 4th one down, search form. And what we'll see is that their Omnibox is selected by default. What I think makes the most amount of sense, and it's up to you, is I think that people typically ask for the city option. So this is what's going to display on your home page. So we're going to pick the city option, and then we're going to scroll down and click next. So what happens is on your home page, they only have 4 fields they can pick to select, they can choose from. If you scroll down and they do an advanced search, so after they do a search and they want to edit their search or they want to refine their results, they get the opportunity to come to what I consider the advanced search, and that's the one that I pick so they can refine the results to help them get the result that they desire.
And they can put in as many fields or.
Correct.
Perfect.
Right, and the reason why I like this one is one of the things I notice is in the advanced, it has the property type. And in my experience, a lot of people are either searching for single family homes or townhomes and condos. Most of the time, they're not mixing their property types in residential.
So we choose it as city or advanced?
So we choose the city on the first, that's our first initial search. That's on our homepage. Then we're gonna click the next, which should be down at the bottom, I believe. And then the second search that they're gonna get is gonna be the advanced.
Okay, same thing.
And then we're gonna click save again. And now what you guys can do is after we click save, let's look at how our sites look like right now. If we scroll all the way up to the right again and we click on view live site, we'll open up our site.
What do you think?
What do you think? So
Well, I thought we were gonna have a picture. That's just the name of it. That's not the picture.
we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll cover that at the end of the class and then the slideshows.
So is it supposed to still do that?
Yeah. So that'll be the last thing we'll talk about the slides, because in the next class, what I intend to do is to have different slides that we can have with different.
So this is the difference on the search bar now, is that
Right.
essentially all we did?
Right.
So you can do city.
So right now, you can, if we scroll down, we can simply, you'll see a list of cities available for you.
So it knows to stay in, oh,
Remember. Well, because we only picked,
because we're never.
well, when we picked our region, we only picked Illinois, so
Right.
it's gonna typically just use cities in Illinois. Okay? Any questions before we move on?
You said when we scroll down, we should see a list of cities?
Yes, so what I'm saying is when you click on here, you should see a list of cities here.
So do all part. And then it does have minimum, maximum, whatever.
Right. So. Right, and then if you do, I would suggest, why don't you guys try doing a search on your site so you'll see
Well,
what the
let's see if
client
it
sees.
goes to, yeah, so now it goes to, you can narrow it down.
Right, so if you do a search, and now you have the opportunity to refine your results. Any questions before we move on? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this page, and we're going to go back to our editing page.
I'm just seeing how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So as we were looking at our page, we saw that there were a certain number of featured listings on the home page. Okay, everybody notice that? Otherwise, if you just click to the home page, you guys can just look on the screen and I'll show you. And each theme, depending on the theme, has a different number of properties that it's going to display on the home page. So you see in this particular, the Plymouth theme, it's doing, we're doing 9 listings here. Now, what you'll typically know by default is if you don't change the parameters, which we're getting ready to do, is it will just display commercial properties, because it'll just display the highest priced properties in the whole MLS. So what I suggest is that we use the office MLS number, and it will just display office listings. Okay, you don't have to do it this way. You can choose what you want, but I'm going to show you here how we do that. So if we click on featured listings, okay, we should get something here, like we should be here. Okay. So now that we're on.
That's our office ID, 834.
No, that's the Main Street. That's the Main Street ID. There's also one for Carr. There's also one for Three Rivers, Kite-Far.
That's our office ID.
Yeah.
6110.
611080, right? I don't know.
That's out here. But I
That's-
can use it
Yeah, you can use it.
even though I'm in car.
Yes. So what you can do is you can add search criteria. Now, this is a little tricky on how this works. It's important to pay attention how this happens. What you have to do is you actually have to, quote unquote, add the criteria name, and then you have to enter in the criteria. So for example, where we see it says add search criteria. In this case, we talked about adding a office ID. So what you have to do is you have to go and select office ID and then click add, which will then allow you to add the MLS number.
Okay, mine already has 1680 in there, so that's good.
And you,
Can you look up cars?
I'll look it up, we'll look it up after class here. So you can add multiple IDs in here. It doesn't have to be just one. Okay. The other thing you may want to or not want to do is select the property types that you want displayed on your website. And I'll leave this completely up to you. If you wish to do that,
Like single family or?
well, right now I have single family and detached. Single family, they're the ones that show up on my. Okay, so again, we have to do the same option. So we have to add the category first and then add the criteria second. So what we're going to do is we're going to click again where it says add search criteria. We'll click this down arrow again. And then you'll find the appropriate one that says property type, and it's probably down at the bottom if I remember. Somewhere in here.
There it is right there. Oh, you said purchase type.
I said property, yeah, so I already have it added on mine. So if I removed it, and then I select the criteria, property type is right here. But the,
That's right.
now,
Or property purchase or something.
you don't have to do this. So you can choose which ones you like.
And say, you have to say,
Oh, 6 selected, yeah, 6 selected.
So now what you'll see is it will tell you that there are showing 110 listings in my particular example. Okay? So that's how many you know that are available. So if it's only showing 56, that means you filtered out the criteria.
I don't have to filter it out?
Well, I'm saying that you did, so
Yeah.
you filtered it down to 56. So,
Mhm.
so I don't click off of it for a second. It should be showing more than that. Oh, you know what? You added all these cities in here, so it's only going to show properties in those cities.
Oh, okay, so I didn't need
Well,
that?
that's only going to be on your homepage. So I would leave it alone if those are cities that you service and you want to pretend like you want to show that you are active in those areas and our office is active, and then leave it alone. It's fine.
Okay.
Now, by default, it searches from the highest price to the lowest price. And you can see here by changing this, you can choose which ones, which criteria you want to sort. Now, to be clear, these are just how they are sorted on the home page. Okay. Does this make sense? Okay. The other thing I'm going to show, and I'm just going to talk about it, is specific listings. Okay. And what might make sense, where it may make sense for you to use specific listings. If you are an agent who has listings that you want your properties to be displayed on your homepage, this is where you could do that. So now, because there's no way to filter the search, so it will show just your properties and then also the office properties if they're available, right? So that's one thing that you can't do here. But you have the ability of adding specific listings. So if you wanted to add your listings here, you could add one of the filters to be your MLS ID, right? And it would then populate your listings, and you could simply move over which ones you wanted to display on your homepage. Does that make sense?
Okay, so that's the search criteria you have to add.
Right. Well, you have to add whatever search criteria that you want, and then you have to select the specific listings. Keep in mind that once the properties go under contract, they're going to come off the homepage of your site. And there's no way to auto-populate or automate, so you would have to continually go in here and update this if you wanted to. I have had agents whose clients demanded that their listings were featured on their homepage. So that's how you would do that. Here. Okay?
You said when it goes under contract, it'll
automatically come off.
Okay. So what is the ad, is it the MLS?
You could do it by your MLS number, right? So if you wanted to add your specific listings, you could do the same thing. We would add the criteria, MLS ID, but it's going to have to meet all these criteria. So it's only going to show the property types. Let me just add land here. So if I wanted to show my listings, so that's how you could get to your listings. If you wanted to make sure that your listings were shown and you don't carry enough to fill the whole first homepage, but you want to populate properties there, that's the easy way to do that. But it's a manual process that you have to go and continually update. Does that make sense, or we need a little bit of help? Okay, just asking. Now, the other thing I'm going to mention here is global filters. So let's click on global filters. Now, if we go to our website and we click on one of those menus, well, it looks just exactly the same, but we're on global filters here. So it kind of works the same way here as the featured listings.
Okay. It's unfortunate. It's very bad. Hello?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about global filters here. I know, you're beautiful. So what you will see is as you start over on the left hand of the screen, you start off with all the listings from the MLS. Then you have the opportunity to filter listings. And then you have the opportunity to do specific listings, similar to what we just did. Now, where I think this might make sense is if you open up your website and you're on a phone and you want to search for a town, let's call it Wheeling. And then you have that menu and you're on your phone and you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page.
Really?
Well, you would, because you're scrolling. It goes in alphabetical order.
You can't put like W up there somewhere?
You could try it on your websites, see how it works on your phone, right? You should know how it works and what your consumers are seeing, right? So what I'm saying is that potentially on our filtered listings, we could go in and select the cities that we want to serve, or we want those properties to be shown on our website in an opportunity to shorten that list. So if you don't want to go to Arlington Heights, or you don't want Arlington Heights listings shown on your website, you might be able to remove that. Or there's a lot of different cities that are just not anywhere near the area. You kind of know your clients, and I think that the more specific you get with your website, the better results that you will have. So it's the same process that we just did. You add the specific item, and then you just basically, so it's the same thing. We can pick one of these. Let's call it property type. Add it here. And then I'm just showing this for an example. You don't have to do this. And then we can select that we only want detached, single, and maybe residential 5, maybe land, 2 to 4 units, residential rentals. And those will be the only ones that people can search for. So you can choose whether you want to filter it that way or not. It's your choice. Okay, does that make sense? Do you want to spend a little time on this, or would you like to keep going?
I can spend a little time because I hit property type, but then how did you come up with the
Okay, so
the criteria?
all right, so after we hit property type, right, we added it under search criteria.
Okay.
When we click on the little arrow here, it gives me which ones I want to select. So
Okay. we did the one for city. I added a criteria city, but I don't think it's working because I already have my cities in there.
So the first ones that we did with cities, that was just the featured listings on your website. Those are the ones that display typically on your homepage. This is overall if people are searching your website.
So they can search any city.
They can search any city right now.
Oh, okay.
But I probably would suggest if you want to do this kind of on your own time, because you could spend a lot of time doing this. We went over kind of how to do it. So we're going to move on.
Okay.
We just need to be right back here. Maybe in the corner of Dunsky, right?
I'll explain it later, but if you knew what was going on, you'd be like, okay.
All right, so let's go to the right and hit dismiss. Okay. So we've done the IBX integration so far. We've talked about global feature filters. We've talked about featured listings. We've gone through the theme selection. Now, if you have certifications, do either one of you have certifications?
You mean
Like
designations?
Designations?
Yeah.
All right, so let's add them real quick. Let's click on the certifications tab on the left side here. And you can pick the specific designations, and they will show up on your website.
National Association of Realtors. Do you have to have certification to be a short sale foreclosure resource, or can I do some content?
No, you have to actually have the certification. Okay. So after you go through those, you can just simply click Save.
Yes. Looky live now, baby John. Frank.
Hello, John.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Okay, just jumping in for a quick question, Steve.
Beautiful. All right, so are we good with our certifications? Okay. Now the next one I'm going to show you is what you can do this at home. This takes a little bit of time. So the next one after the certifications is going to be the social networks. Okay, and I'm just going to put it so you can see it. You can do this one at home. So this will allow you to put these roughly 10 social networks links on your website. So if you are active on those, I would suggest that you add them. And if you're really not active on those social networks, that's really not a big deal.
Let me ask you, so I go to Facebook, I just copy and paste the URL and put it in that box.
Correct, but usually if you look at the screen here, you're only looking for the part that's facebook.com after the slash going that way. So you don't post that, don't put in the whole URL. You can copy it, but then just delete this.
No, so we can just do that.
So how do you add it? How do you add it to your,
Okay, so what you'll do is you'll go on to Facebook, your business page. You'll get the URL, and then you'll copy and paste the URL into here. And you can do that with each one of these profiles. Okay, this is your homework.
So it's like blah, 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 Facebook. So we would start at Facebook.com. You said after the slash.
Right, so if you look at the screen here,
And I'm looking at Facebook.com.
so you want the information that's after facebook.com,
Oh.
after the slash.
After slash. Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. So what I find the easiest way to do it is to copy and paste the information and then delete all the information on that. So again, this is your homework. We're going to dismiss out of this.
Tinkerbell.
Hello?
Okay, the next section that we're going to talk about is what's called lead capture.
Yes.
Okay. And you have two options with lead capture. You can either you can passive capture leads or aggressively capture leads. So that means either you allow them to see properties and they don't have to give you their information, or you require them to give you their information to view your properties.
That's why.
It's completely up to you and how you want to run your business.
Exactly.
I have found that doing aggressive capture of leads will generate opportunities for you to do business. Passive will give you less opportunities. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be better than, but I have found that you just have to work a lot harder to be able to get leads, in my experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is slideshow. We're going to go back up here.
That's pretty.
So when we're in slideshow, we have the ability to choose which slideshow we want and what pictures we want to show up there. What I intend to do for the next class is I intend to have specific items that we can load in there that we can link to specific opportunities to generate business from.
Yeah.
Okay?
When's your next class?
Next Friday at the same time.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. I think that class will most likely run long. So if you don't have to go somewhere, plan on staying a little bit later because I have a lot of content that I'd like to
2 to 4.
I would say 2 to 4. The other things that I want to make sure that everybody has when they come to class next time is, does anybody have a website with GoDaddy?
I started one, but I don't think it's still.
Okay. So if you own a domain somewhere, either with Google domains or GoDaddy domains, bring your username and password to class. We'll set that up if you have it.
I don't think I still have it.
Okay. If you wish to purchase one,
Mhm.
we'll make time to set it up in the next class.
How much time?
$12 a year.
Oh, that sounds good.
Right. So I would suggest if you were going to purchase one, here's where I would tell you to purchase it from. If you go to domains.google. Okay, now pay attention. It's domains.google. It's not domains.google.com. It's domains.google. And you can buy one from there. It's very easy to set up. I set Tom's up. It was very easy. It was the easiest one I've ever used in my life. And it also gives you an email account that you can use for your business that is branded to you. So you could have, in my case, it's realtor@johnziamba.com. That's my brand and my domain, who I am and what I do. So if you do that, make sure you can log into that information. Now, when you go to purchase that, and even if you don't purchase that, we need to be able to log into a Gmail account that is not KW's.
So like my personal one?
Your personal one's fine. Okay? Because we're gonna do some things that will allow Google to see your site better. Okay. So this is what you need for next one. Tom, you're set up with the top one. You need to be able to log into your Gmail. You need to have your username and password for your Gmail account.
Mike Keller Williams.
Your personal one, not her. One that's not the Keller Williams one.
Okay. And where do you want me to?
Just bring it with you and know how to log in, because if somebody doesn't know their username and password, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do the wait for you. I'm gonna be able to go. Okay. So next time what we're gonna do is we're gonna link our domain. We're going to verify our website with Google. And we're also going to edit, slide, show photos. Okay. Questions, thoughts, or concerns before we end the class?
And next time, he wasn't here, it's gonna be from 2 to 4.
I said it's probably going to go a little bit later than 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
We already, this last thing that you was talking about, slideshows, what are we doing on that page?
Okay, so on the slideshow, I was just showing you, this is where you would edit those slides that are on your homepage. And then I got, so you can choose whether you want to edit it or change your specific slideshow that you have. So for example, I can select this one that says interiors. And then I can choose if I want these slideshows or these specific slides in that slideshow. So there's a couple default ones there. What I hope to do on the next time for me to have customized ones that you guys can put on your websites that will have call to action, like download my app, what's my home worth, about me, and I'm still kind of maybe local areas, still working on a few options available. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Any questions before I?
What is call to action?
Yes, it's basically a call to action is some kind of text or promotion for a person to click on. So for example, download my app is a call to action.
Oh, okay.
Right? What's my home worth? All right. So that's my goal, is to make some custom slides that everybody can use, and I have to work on. So I am gonna end this right now, and then I'll stick around for questions or if anybody needs any personalized help.